Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4! And today spawning in on the east side of the map, playing in blue, we've got Loklok, playing as the Holy Roman Empire. And battling against him today, spawning in the south in red, we've got beastyqt, playing as the Knights Templar. Welcome everyone to Enlightened Horizon. As always, hope you guys are having a great morning, good afternoon or good evening. And we're going to be in for some hopefully exciting action on this new map, which has a lots to talk about. Of course, we've got the new Knights of Cross and Rose DLC, and we've got some points of interest on this map. The merchant camps, they give you a pretty nice income, 15 wood, 15 food, and 15 gold every minute. There are 2 of them on the map, and there's actually one more point of interest in the middle called the Lost Ronin. You get some good units from, well, I say good, not that great, but you get some units nonetheless. You can hire them with a bit of gold being spent. We'll see how much that factors in on this match. Now, we do have the deer camp being taken nice and early with the HRE, with the prelate to boost up. Interestingly enough, we've got spearmen coming out here for the Knights Templar. Now, could do one or two things. Could put some pressure on the deer camp, which maybe Beastie wouldn't necessarily know about. But the other thing, they can be used, these spearmen, to capture the merchant camps nice and early. So pretty cool to see, being able to, use these points of interest already. It's having an effect on the matchup. Another thing on the matchup, actually, I think on this matchup, the Knights Templar will often go second town centre. We'll see exactly what Beastie decides to do, but if he doesn't, there's a quite good chance he'll be behind on economy. Just courtesy, again, because of the prelate boosting up the food income, at least, at this scenario, but often multiple prelates can come out and boost up the rest of the villagers too. Either way, would like to say a very big thank you for everyone who's been supporting the channel, whether it be on Twitch or YouTube. You guys are absolute legends, so special shout out to the YouTube channel members and the Twitch subscribers. As always as well, appreciate the guys who've been subscribed to the channel for a very long time. And if you haven't already, by the way, say you enjoyed a couple of casts, you want to see what's coming up on the channel in the next few days, make sure that you are subscribed. More importantly, that you hit the notification bell so you get a bit of a ding-dong when I do upload the next video. Well, there go the spearmen for Beastie across the map. And he's going to run into the villagers gathering food here, which is a bit of a problem for Loklok. If he is thinking about a fast castle age after this, the food here could have been pretty useful for him. In fact, the spearmen are going for the second merchant camp too. That's going to be great for the resources, I have to say. So whilst Beastie is up against the HRE, the prelate, the merchant camps will help neutralise that difference a little bit. Will be an Ark and Chapel nice and safe at home for the HRE. A bit of palisade walling here to the edge of the map wouldn't go amiss. Help keep his economy safe and sound, at least for the short term. The barracks could come into good use later on as well, potentially, depending on what age up that the Knights Templar go up with. Sometimes we do see cavalry quite often, but in fact it's going to be the Principality of Antioch, giving melee units an extra 10% damage, but more importantly, potentially being able to train sergeants. A really powerful unit, actually, interesting one. It's one of my favourite units, not necessarily one that we see all that often, but it's a unit that has a melee damage, but actually has a ranged effect to it. So it does melee damage, so if you're up against them, you want the melee armour, but you're up against a unit that does melee damage at a range. So it's kind of a weird one, you maybe have to just see it to believe it, but it's a pretty cool unit for kiting. And it presents a bit of a unique problem for many civilizations because, as we said, in the blacksmith upgrades, if you're going up against sergeants, you want the melee armor rather than the ranged armor. And the reason why that's a big deal is because a lot of times civilization go for, a fast castle, and if you do so, they typically go for ranged armor, right? Because if you go fast castle, you're thinking about giving heavily armored units in the form of, man-at-arms, or maybe stable units, some knights. And so you might be up against, crossbows, right? There's a natural counter to those. So you might be thinking as the player go for highly armoured units, you might be thinking, I need iron undermesh. Up against sergeants, you're going to need the armour upgrade for the melee units, or the melee armour. But the reason why that's a big deal, you might be thinking, well, it's just a straight swap, right? You just swap the ranged armour for the melee armour. But the big problem is if you're going to be diving under TCs, you need ranged armour. So you're going to need to get both. It's a bit of a price associated with that. And so you can't really do both at the same time, right? You've got to get one after the other as well. Now, Beastie does spot the deer camp being taken, so he might just send his spearman there now. He does exactly that. No one capturing the lost Ronin site just yet. And it certainly looks like it will be a fast castle out for the HRE. Stone being gathered by Beastie suggests that it's going to be a second town centre here for the Knights Templar. This could be a good spot for it. The deer camp and wood. That's exactly where he's placing his second town centre. Now that Beastie is aware of the fast castle, by the way, might be looking to wall up this site because, you know, you don't want to see man-at-arms streaming through there. And that's exactly what's happening. Now, Loklok, we haven't featured him too many times on the channel, I think maybe once or twice, but he is a top 30 player at the moment on the rank ladder. So he definitely has the skills to put some pressure on Beastie today. You will, of course, know Beastie's credentials, one of the best players in the world, if not the best. I'm going to be up against a HRE fast castle. I'm kind of curious to see what it will be. Will it be Relics? Will it be Relics Cathedral? Will it be the Burgrave Rush? Not long before we see, I suspect. As a second town setup, not quite yet built, but will be coming in soon. By the way, bear one thing in mind, the Knights Templar actually have the fastest second town centre play in the Age of Empires 4, I believe. Of course, Beastie delaying it a little bit because he went for the barracks opening first. Adding in a second one too. And it will indeed be a Burgrave Palace. So expect to see a lot of units from the HRE pretty soon. Although food sources could be a bit of a problem for Loklok. He did get a lot of food from the deer camp, and so he's remaining with some sheep at home. Only 5 sheep won't last forever. Double barracks, and this is where it becomes really interesting. The sergeant, actually kind of a nice counter to this play, I've got to say, in many ways. Because again, these men-at-arms to be relevant, they need to get both the melee armor upgrade and also the ranged armor upgrade if they want to dive the town centers. There's the first of the sergeants, probably of many. So as the game wears on, the economy should be scaling nicely for Beastie on the deer camp too, so very fast sources of food. The question for Beastie is how much does he commit in terms of units in the feudal age before he goes to the castle age, because the sergeants do cost both food and gold, right? Both of the resources that are needed to get to the castle age. Now, good timing on this, 7.5 minutes roughly. I suspect Loklok will be looking to get relics behind this, but you can see the queuing up of these units very, very quickly. And there's the blacksmith. And he will be going for the ranged armor up first. I don't know if he knows about Beastie's sergeants. That's the big deal, right? Like, this is such a usual counter, as an unusual choice for the man-at-arms for the HRE, but unfortunately, it's actually not going to help him in the fight against the sergeants. It will help him dive the town centre if that's what he's planning. Yeah, very unique unit, the sergeant. It's part of the reason why I like it so much, as we see the pilgrims going across now, getting some valuable gold for Beastie. And the double walls up for Beastie, giving him some time, warning to the second town side as well. He's pretty safe and secure as things go. So Beastie keeps a close eye on these man-at-arms. But the big deal is that, of course, these sergeants, they do ranged attack, or ranged... Okay, they do melee damage, but as a ranged attack. 1.25 movement speed versus the 1.24, so they're pretty fast on their feet as well. That's a big deal, actually. Even with Forced March or Forlorn Hope. Actually, Forlorn Hope could be interesting, getting the charge. The charge damage, extra 50% of it. But this is the thing, right? The sergeants should never really get caught out, and they can just chip away at these units. He is now investing in the fitted leather work, but can take a bit of time to come on in, and really time is of the essence on these kind of pushes, right? Take up advantages, but granted, one thing the fast castle does also allow Loklok to do is potentially get some of those relics. Although he's not picked up any just yet. Beastie looking to full wall to make sure that he's not pressured too easily. He's got one of the merchant camps now, Loklok. The sergeants could just hide behind the walls. They could fire, actually. There we go. You can see how much damage it does. It's kind of crazy to think, right? Almost 2 shots them. That's wild. Considering this is a feudal age unit compared to a castle age unit, let's take a look at the stats, actually. 105 health, 10 base damage, 155 health, 12 base damage. I mean, this does a lot of hits, actually. Now they are a heavy melee infantry unit, so the the man-at-arms do get bonus damage versus that, extra +6. Very nice indeed. No relics picked up just yet for the HRE. Always trying to decap the merchant camps there. The villager count slowly escalating for the Knights Templar. Going to give them a really strong economy. Unfortunately, they're not. I mean, essentially, this kind of didn't really do anything, right? Man-at-Arms rush with the Burgrave Palace didn't really achieve all that much. It does give them map control though, and so relics picking them up could be a good idea. It's picked up one so far. One good thing as well is that all these relics are actually up for grabs, right? Some maps you have relics inside your enemy's base and you can't grab them, but Loklok does have the potential to get all 5 of them. Also has the potential to break through here. Take a bit of time with the double layer of palisades. That's a lot of torches though. Guess where do you go from here from Loklok? It feels like you committed quite a lot to the Burgrave rush and it didn't really work out for you. Gotta be thinking about protecting these units though, because later on in the game it could become a problem if Beastie does get units out there. But for now, sergeants have to stay at home. Could dive this potentially. Does have iron undermesh. It's going to cause some idle time in the villagers. But there's the castle stage now for Beastie. That's great timing actually, because he's going to want to upgrade this quick time. Hasn't got the veterancy. There it is. There's the veterancy for the sergeants. He's going to want that quickly. But once they become veteran sergeants, they're going to do a significant amount of damage. He's got the second melee armor though. That's definitely going to help these guys survive against sergeants, but Beastie's going to need to just survive for a bit longer, not lose too much economy. Then he'll be in a good spot. You can see Beastie just staying by the gates, so they can always pop around the other side if those men-at-arms decide to charge on him. So might just get, it's going to go behind the gate now, I suspect. Won't let them get too close, but now he's got veteran sergeants, and he's going to rip through these men-at-arms if he's not careful. Loklok's got to be careful. He's suffering quite a bit. The man-at-arms are now up on the sergeant's front line, but not many of them. I mean, there's only 4 of them really chomping at the bit. The rest of them didn't get the memo. This is great work by Beastie. Putting his villagers safe for now. He's killed a couple. He's killed 9 villagers in total. Question of whether that's enough or not. I'm not so sure. They could dive here. Oh, didn't miss an opportunity there, Loklok. Put pressure on this gold vein. Stick to the corner. I mean, that's still in range of the town centre, but... oh, he's going to be walled in. That's unfortunate there for Loklok. Well, to be fair, though, he's probably going to get some villager kills. He's on both sides of it, of course. Oh, the villager's moving quite far there. Fast, rather. Even without wheelbarrow. Maybe one more out of this, but the sergeant should... oh, I don't think he gets another villager out of this, actually. We'll see. Oh, there's the chase down. Trying to block them in. The sergeants will clear this up. That's the big thing out of this. Actually demolish these man-at-arms. Holy moly. Where does Loklok go from here? That's the big question. He does have 2 relics already deposited. 1 more on the way. Get the resources on the map in the form of the boar and the gold. But now with the unit advantage for the Knights Templar, this could become very risky having the economies exposed like that. Sergeants will just continue to kite this. Nice bit of hopping in and out. There's Bloomery already in the way in place, but he's also got the second attack upgrade too. That's a lot of sergeants. These man-at-arms won't survive. 3 relics in play. Oh wait, where's that? Hang on, wait. Hello? His comrade picked it up before he did, I guess. Sergeants for Beastie now, starting to move on out. Kind of cool strategy to see how you go up against the Burgrave rush as the Knights Templar. This is a very natural way to do it. Veteran sergeants. Now, could just deposit it inside the outpost. That's exactly what he does. No upgrades in them just yet, though. It's always a bit exposed, right? Of course, you get the relic gold income a bit quicker because out there and deposited. Still, ooh, okay, just passing by. We'll spot the decap. And yeah, bear in mind as well, the more units you have on the merchant camps, the quicker it captures and decaptures. One thing I love about the sergeants as well, by the way, we won't necessarily see it today, but they actually do a lot of damage against buildings. They don't use torches, they just have their base damage. And also, they do great against siege engines. So that might force the Holy Roman Empire into crossbows, which is not natural for them, seeing as they went for the Burgrave. Oh, he spots the gold, right? Because you have to wonder, like, BC is aware of the fact that gold is going to be expired in the primary base, so he spotted those villages. A lot of idle time being caused here. And all the meanwhile, the second town centre has been in play for Beastie. Of course, the 5 relics helps to mitigate that economy difference. Amount of times, if they can catch up to these sergeants, then it'll be a good fight for him, but that's a big if, because these sergeants, yeah, they do move fast. 1.25 feels very fast, actually. Because bear in mind, these man-at-arms have got forced march. Not forced march. Yeah, I believe it's forced march, isn't it? Marching drills, rather. It's got marching drills. And so, yeah, they're kind of, it's a bit awkward that this is happening. Sergeant's movement speed seems a bit too fast to me. Sniping quite a few villagers too. Not looking good for Loklok. He does potentially have a way out if he can find his way to the Imperial Age. There's a big gap between him and getting there, though. Gold income's kind of crazy for Beastie. I wonder if he's going to start getting some fortresses. He's got the stone to get them. Could look to protect the pilgrims. Man-at-arms, the numbers just dwindling. Has now gone into crossbows. It's very rare that you see the Holy Roman Empire being the ones that are having to be reactive, right? But they are having to be today. As Beastie now does go for a fortress. Where is he placing it? Relocated it. Looks like it's going for the middle of the map. By the deer camp, potentially. Sacred site decapped. The sergeant numbers have been dwindled a little bit. They have been whittled down. Oh, he thought about it. Didn't necessarily know that his enemy was there. Has to go back a little bit to his own merchant camp. The question is, does Loklok have access to food? He's got the boar sitting there. He's on berries. Yeah, primarily just berries. Could trade in the gold for it, though. That could be useful. Probably a must at this point. Spearmen just going to be harassing quite a few spearmen, actually. Kind of unusual to see that many. Oh, go for the Genoese crossbowmen. Nice approach, actually. That's going to be great to deal with the crossbows that it's going to be up against from the HRE itself. Although there's a couple of villagers here. BC getting caught out. The villagers do retreat to the fortress, though. They'll be safe for now, at least. And now, having retreated to the fortress, has got access to the boar here, Beastie. So it's going to be getting plenty of food that way. Speaking about plenty of things, well, Loklok has got plenty of gold. Got 5 relics in the bank, don't forget. And maybe looking to trade that for some food. Maybe an Imperial Age could work in his favour. I mean, I think it's got to be the Palace of Swabia, right? The trouble is on this map is that actually after your initial resources in your base, everything else is actually very exposed. I suspect Loklok might be thinking about trying to secure the gold veins in the middle, but he's got to secure a way of getting more economy as well, because he has been behind in terms of being on the second town centre from the Knights Templar. So he's going to want to play a bit of catch-up. Of course, the sacred sites, or sorry, rather the relics, help mitigate that somewhat, but you feel like it's not enough. And now with the trebuchet on the field, these outposts are going to be under attack. Has got the boosting up of them, though. He's got the fortifications. With more trebuchets on the field, coming soon most likely, even Beastie. That's not going to be too hard to take care of. Bear in mind, of course, the trebuchets do have a second burst attack, courtesy of the fact that the Knights Templar don't get any gunpowder units. To compensate, they've got better trebuchets, I guess. Crossbows going to the left side. Going to try and snipe out some of these villagers and pilgrims. Unable to get the fortress there, Beastie. The army's in position, but Beastie goes for his own attack, of course. Knowing that the army's out of position, we'll pick off a couple of pilgrims. Nice pick off, actually. Villagers here very exposed on the food resources, and, well, it's going to come down to who needs to plant seeds for farms earlier. Well, Beastie's already got some farming transition already underway. The HRE have got a couple too. It feels like the transition is going to be a bit harder here for the HRE, right? Because Beastie's still on boar. Can't say the same for the HRE. They're on berries. He's trying to go for the tech up, but Beastie's aware of this and he's going to make him pay for this most likely. Man-at-Arms going to go up against Spearmen, but Spearmen are essentially there to buy time for the Genoese crossbowmen to get some damage behind them. Trebuchets already focus firing on the Palace of Swabia. Looks like a fortress is going to be going up soon for Beastie as well, which will be a good staging ground to attack from. Because, of course, don't forget, this does allow the improvement of the range of nearby ranged units. But the big problem is the Palace of Swabia has got emergency repairs. It's under a lot of fire from Trebuchets, right? It's crossbows versus Genoese crossbows from the Knights Templar. And looks like Beastie will win this fight, even fighting underneath an outpost, which has spring-order emplacements and fortifications. But the emergency repairs buys him some time with the Palace of Swabia. The question is, will it be enough time? Fortress is now up and running. And so these range units get an extra bit of range on them. Oh, there's going to be plenty of villagers dying here. That's a big problem. Also, don't forget the Palace of Swabia, when it spawns villagers have to walk elsewhere to gather resources. There's nothing to gather safely from here. Villagers going down, building or repairing the outpost. No emergency repairs for that. And unfortunately, he's going to lose access to that relic as well, at least in terms of income. Beastie looking to get another fortress. That's a bit ambitious. But it doesn't matter anyway, because the GG gets called. He just lost too many units in terms of economy. And if you want to go up against a Burgrave rush, well, now you know how to do it. Simply just play like Beastie. More importantly, make some sergeants. Hope you guys enjoyed this casted game. Take care, and see you next time.